Welcome in, everybody, to Weather Impact Live. It is a Friday. It is feeling like a Friday, and we have got a great weekend on tap here across the First Coast. I'm meteorologist Ross Mumal, riding solo today because my trusted sidekick, or perhaps I'm his trusted sidekick, Chief Meteorologist Lewis Turner, he has got the day off. He's down in Ocala for the weekend at his son's swimming tournament. So props to him for being such a good father, supportive dad out there with his son. Meanwhile, here back on the home front, we are tracking some showers and, yes, even a few isolated thunderstorms out there on the First Coast. So we talked about this possibility yesterday, myself and meteorologist Robert Speta, about that easterly breeze that has been persistent all week long, pushing inland and bringing isolated to spotty showers and even a few isolated thunderstorms, primarily from Highway 301 to I-75. Out there today, we saw them actually fire up just to the east of I-95 in Duval, St. Johns, and Flagler counties, and they have continued to progress inland. So as you take a look here at the satellite imagery, two things to kind of note. You can kind of see that easterly push in from the Atlantic coast, right, as those isolated showers push further and further west and closer to I-75. On the opposite side of the coast, on the Gulf Coast, we also have a Gulf Coast sea breeze beginning to work its way inland. So where those two will collide, very much like a summertime setup, those sea breeze collisions, that's really what we're going to be watching for here through the rest of this evening. There were, I believe, a severe thunderstorm warning out in southern Alabama or out towards the Panhandle. That has since been expired. So Central Florida got a lot of rain and thunderstorms yesterday. Not so much the case here today. So North Florida and southeastern Georgia is kind of the spot for at least some of the shower activity. I mean, this is truly like popcorn or polka dot like showers and storms out there. So yes, there is some lightning embedded within these storms, but they're very, very kind of just like haphazard. It's not a straight line. Most of these storms are rather very small, or the larger ones are more of just a small cluster of some showers and storms out there. So truly just kind of single cell thunderstorms out there, many of which are very, very shallow. So, and we'll kind of take a look at the storm core of these to discuss that further. But just kind of who's seeing rain and who's not. South sides of Waycross are just kind of on the periphery of Waycross, seeing a little bit of some light rain. So just to the west of US 1 there, from Folkestone up towards Waycross, Charlton County seeing a little bit of rain, Ware County seeing a little bit of some rain, and some flashes of lightning as well. We bring it a little bit. Oh, that's right. I have a nice shot out of Hilliard here. So let's take you back to the radar quick. There we go. So you can see Hilliard there at the bottom of your screen. You see that one storm just off to the west-northwest, kind of moving through Charlton County. This is a live look at that storm. So it's been a while since we've actually had storm clouds or rain clouds to look at. I took a picture of them when I was driving in today and sent them to some of my friends, saying, like, I feel like it's been weeks upon weeks since I've actually seen towering cumulus clouds or towering cumulonimbus clouds that actually could produce some rain, some heavy rain at that, and even produce some lightning strikes out there. So certainly, much more of kind of a summertime setup here this week, and finally producing a little bit of some rain. So that's kind of the largest storm, that one just to really, I guess, now the west of Callahan and northwest of Baldwin. Two different single cell storms kind of colliding together just to the southwest of St. George. So you get that storm kind of merger together, can often create a bit of a stronger storm. So as you look at the storm cores, yeah, you'll notice they're jumped up quite a bit. So approaching that strong to severe level, at least with regards to the storm core itself. So we'll have to monitor that and see if the National Weather Service happens to put anything out on that storm. Most of these are going to be very, very short-lived. So this loop is over the last 30 minutes, right? These are kind of what we call pulse storms. Like they're just kind of pulsing up, almost like if you boiled a pot of water and you see the bubbles rise to the surface and just kind of pop. That's sort of what these storms are doing out there right now. So outside of where that storm merger is in southern Charlton County and southwest of St. George, the rest of them very, very shallow. So you're only seeing those storm cores kind of in the light green color, that moderate level, meaning these cloud tops aren't very high. Now, typically, you need to get some height on these storms to get some hail. Not necessarily the case today because temperatures aloft in the atmosphere and cloud tops are quite cold. So earlier today, actually, our anchor Anthony Austin sent in a photo from one of his friends in St. Johns County saying, "Hey, they got some hail." And yes, there was like dime-sized hail, probably even smaller than that came down. And that is possible, especially during this time of the year when those temperatures aloft in the atmosphere are a little bit cooler than what they would be, let's say, in June, July, or August. So hail is possible and certainly could be in that storm there in southern Charleston County. So we will continue to monitor that one. Further to the south, we had a nice little storm roll straight through Stark, continuing to rain in Stark right now. Another one just to the west-southwest of Lake Butler. That's also beginning to fizzle, at least on the southwestern sides of Lake Butler, and heading a little bit more so into western Union County. And then further to the south, Putnam County, not a whole lot of action. Similar story in Alachua County. Those showers have kind of drifted more so to the south-southwest rather than the west-northwest, as some of the other storms are doing kind of more so for the first coast. And it does look like, I'm going to take this back here quick. Yeah, so there we go. So severe thunderstorm warning just came out on that storm over St. George. Let me see what they're putting this out for. Yeah, so 1 inch in diameter sized hail for that storm in St. George and a 60-mile-per-hour wind gust. So this will go until 5 p.m. It's for Nassau County, Charlton County, and Baker County. It is moving to, let's see, the south at 10 miles per hour. I would take probably the movement of that storm with a grain of salt because these cells are still kind of merging together as we speak. So kind of once it completely forms into a brand new storm, then it will continue, I would believe, to the west and southwest. So they're clocking in at 10 miles to the south currently. I would expect that to change likely within about the next 5 or 10 minutes, at least with regards to the storm motion. But again, if you're just now tuning in to Weather Impact Live, this is our first severe thunderstorm warning in quite a while here. Severe thunderstorm warning for Nassau, Baker, and Charlton counties from right now until 5 p.m. for 1 inch in diameter sized hail and upwards of 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So we're going to check back on that storm here in just a little bit. We talked about those storms a little bit further southward. Nothing too worrisome further to the south. But again, this is kind of the area that we're going to be watching for, that I-75 corridor in the Swanee Valley, as these two different kind of wind fields look to collide together. So those easterly winds and those storms that started closer to I-95 that are continuing to push west, and that Gulf Coast sea breeze will eventually collide, and that's likely where we could see some of our stronger storms outside of where you do happen to get some storm cell mergers, just like we're seeing currently in southern Charlton County. So winds still continuing to come out of the east-southeast. Temperature-wise, pretty nice out there. I mean, mid to low 70s out at the beaches. We hit the mid 70s, starting to cool off a little bit because the wind has picked up and the storms have moved further inland. 80s, though, for the rest of us who haven't really seen much rain. You got 82 degrees in Jacksonville right now. Over the next 12 hours, not going to cool off all that much. I know last night was a pretty mild evening. We're kind of expecting the same thing out there tonight, down into the 70s through your evening hours tonight, and then eventually down into the 60s by early tomorrow morning. So mid to low 60s early tomorrow morning. We are not expecting a big cool down with regards to any of this. Fog-wise, patchy fog will be possible around the Jacksonville area. A better chance for some locally dense fog, though, further to the north of Jax across Nassau County and coastal southeastern Georgia counties as well. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to take a closer look at that severe thunderstorm warning coming up in just a hot minute. Stay tuned, folks. So welcome back in, folks. Just some moments ago, really, just after we started our show, we did have a severe thunderstorm warning come out for Charlton County, Baker County, and Nassau County. So there's the latest look on it. Runs from right now until 5 p.m. this evening. So I'm going to hop over to the radar here quick and kind of zoom in on this storm specifically, give you guys kind of a closer look at what we're talking about here. This is from a cell merger is really what we call it. So this is when you get two thunderstorm cells kind of to come together. So you had the one just north of St. George, or almost right over the heart of downtown St. George, and another one to the northwest of Baldwin. Those two storms collided together, kind of surged and continue to grow vertically. And then that is what produced this pretty strong storm. We have not had a severe thunderstorm warning in quite a few weeks here now. So certainly, take your severe weather precautions if you do happen to live in and around this area in southern Charlton County, if you live in northeastern Baker County. I do expect this to weaken probably within about the next 10 to 15 minutes. That's why they've only put out the warning until 5 p.m. Once these cell mergers once they collide together, they will pulse up and be very strong for about 5 or 10 minutes. And then they will weaken simply because, at least during this time of the year, because the atmospheric dynamics aren't really suitable or best fit and conducive for the storm to maintain its severe strength. So certainly just be mindful. It could produce upwards of 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts, frequent lightning strikes as well. As I toss it back here to the radar, you can see quite a few lightning strikes within this storm. So if I zoom in a little bit closer, I don't think this is a very heavily populated area. Right along, what is that? Georgia State Road 94, 121, 185. So kind of in that triangular quadrant is where that severe thunderstorm warning is currently. So if you do happen to live in this area, certainly would go indoors. Not tornadic by any means. We are not expecting a tornado with this, so I should preface that. But it does have the potential to produce some hail. We go over to our hail tracker. We had some small hail earlier in the afternoon across St. Johns County. There was some in Clay and Putnam County as well. Sorry, folks. I was talking to my producer through the window. Yeah, so there's a little bit of some hail coming through, probably about quarter-inch, half-inch size. So this was warned up for 1 inch in diameter sized hail. You notice how right around 4:30 it's quite strong, and then it kind of wanes. So there's kind of the peak of it there at 4:31. And then as we advance it, it does begin to kind of decrease a little bit. So that is good news that kind of like I mentioned earlier, we do kind of expect this storm to not necessarily maintain its strength all that long. So again, if you're just tuning in, severe thunderstorm warning for Charlton, inland Nassau County, and northeastern Baker County. That runs from right now until 5 p.m. So another 15 minutes or so. So we will check back in on this storm very shortly. I am going to continue through a little bit of the forecast here, kind of through the rest of the weekend. So quick reprieve from that. We'll check back in just a second. Gate River runs tomorrow. I know meteorologist Robert Speta, he is running this. Zach Wilcox, one of our reporters, is also running this, along with Crystal Moyer, our morning traffic anchor, and I believe one of our photographers, Cole, is as well. So it is going to be a bit foggy to start off, patchy fog. Not really concerned about the visibility issue, but certainly more so just with the dampness, how warm and muggy it could be. Temperatures in the mid-60s, quickly warming though into the low to mid-70s by 9 to 10 a.m. So for those runners who are taking a little bit longer out there, hey, no shame. But it will be quite warm, and really heat is going to be the big talking point through the rest of the weekend. We have got near record heat on tap, really starting on Sunday and continuing through early next week. So Saturday, we got a high of 85, but Sunday, Monday, 87 degrees each of those afternoons. Sunday would break that daily high record set back in 1974 of 86. So certainly, I mean, we're going to be 10 to 15 degrees above average for this time of the year. So the AC is probably going to need to be running inside and also in your car out there this weekend. One way to maybe cool yourself off, head out to the beach. It should be a nice beach weekend overall. We're still going to have that onshore flow. So easterly or southeasterly winds, keeping things a little bit cooler along our coastline and the beaches. So whether you're on the St. Johns River or the intercoastal or actually out at the beach, temperatures should be about 10 degrees cooler than what they're like in downtown Jacksonville or in McClenny or Orange Park. So mid 70s out there at the beach. Water temperature still quite cold in the low 60s, but if you can brave the cold, please be mindful we do have a high risk of rip currents both today but also into the weekend as well. Surf heights are about 2 to 3 feet, so not terrible, but especially if you're thinking of letting the kiddos get in the water, we do have a rip current statement currently in place. Just keep a watchful eye on them with the high risk of rip currents, at least for the start of the weekend. We got a lot of stuff going on around Jacksonville this weekend, one of which is the inaugural home regular season opener of Sporting Jacks. They're taking on the Hartford Athletic at UNF Hodges Stadium. 7:30 p.m. Match kickoff time there on Saturday night. Looks great. I mean, truly like perfect weather for a night out here in Jacksonville. Mid 70s at kickoff. And then just gradually kind of cooling off into the upper 60s by the final 45 and the second half of that Sporting Jacks home regular season opener. So should be a very nice evening for some football out there, or soccer as we Americans say it. Rain chance wise tomorrow should be pretty slim. Only maybe 1 or 2 isolated showers tomorrow, so less in the way of rain for your Saturday. Sunday, I think, is a little bit of a different story. We'll be dry through the morning, but as the afternoon and evening wears on, notice we'll have more of a southerly or southwesterly wind, so that Gulf Coast sea breeze is going to be allowed to traverse further to the east. Today, the easterly Atlantic coast breeze is winning out. By Sunday, the Gulf Coast will win out. So that's going to pull a little bit more rain and shower activity closer to the Jacksonville metro area. So we're talking especially like Clay County, Western Duval, Nassau, Putnam, at least the western sides of St. Johns County have much better chances for some rain there for Sunday. So we're going to continue to kind of watch the rain, shower, and storm kind of chances there as the weekend progresses. But just know Sunday has a much better chance for rain than Saturday. Before we take another quick break, just one last check-in here, or another check-in before we go to break, I should say, on that severe thunderstorm warning. Still in place for Charlton, Baker, and Nassau counties until 5 p.m. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll take another look at this and get you through the rest of the weekend and into your 7-day forecast coming up. Welcome back in, everybody. We are continuing to track this severe thunderstorm warning that has now really moved away from inland Nassau County. So, although I know Nassau is included in this severe thunderstorm warning, we're mainly just watching now for southern Charlton and northeastern Baker County. We have another 8 minutes left on this severe thunderstorm warning. This all was from two separate single cell thunderstorms that happened to merge together. They kind of pulsed up and exploded as one, almost like two people coming together and jumping into the air at one another. And now still has a good bit of lightning on it, and it's still certainly a strong storm. We're going to head to the storm core, but it does appear as if the storm could begin to weaken, rather shortly. So there it looks like it at least briefly pulsed back up. So still at severe strength. It's warned for 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts. So you can see some very strong gusty winds right there along Georgia State Highway 185. That's about to cross over out of southern Charlton County and into northeastern Baker County. So Georgia State Highway 185. If you know folks who live out along there, maybe just check up on them. Please be mindful. We certainly have a pretty strong storm coming through there, not just for the rain and the heavy winds, but also there is the potential for up to 1 inch in diameter sized hail. Now, we go over to the hail tracker. I believe this is going to probably populate in the wrong spot, so I apologize. As we drag it on over here, there is some hail being shown. So about quarter to half inch in diameter sized hail. So we're talking dimes and nickels for the most part. So certainly, yes, some hail that you could be seeing, but not to the point of damaging hail. But again, now we have about another 6 minutes left. We'll be interested in seeing whether the National Weather Service does put either a new warning on this or extend the warning. Let me see if they have said anything in the chat. This is pretty much the biggest storm we have. There is another storm in kind of southeastern Alachua and northwestern Marion counties. The National Weather Service put a special weather statement on that. That doesn't really seem to be an issue, but we certainly have not had too much stormy weather here over the past several weeks. So that's why we're trying to just kind of stay hyper focused. We have not seen lightning in quite a while. So certainly if you do live in this portion or this part of the First Coast, you might want to make sure you get inside. There is still quite a bit of lightning kind of within this. We should take a broader view. If I can zoom out here just a hair. A lot of the other storms are rather small. So around Jacksonville, nothing to be concerned about. Further to the north, we do have some isolated storms. They're going to start to move into the south sides of Waycross there in Ware County rather soon. So most of these have now moved west of Highway 301. So we're kind of watching between Highway 301 and that I-75 corridor here for the rest of this evening with regards to rain chances. How about rain chances in the rest of the extended forecast? We'll take a look here at that 7-day, that highly sought after 7-day forecast. Mostly dry skies for your Saturday tomorrow. Sunday, a slightly better chance for some late afternoon and early evening showers, isolated storms as we do spring ahead Saturday night. Don't forget about that. Of course, your phone does it for you, but just know you got to adjust your schedule a little bit. But notice the temperatures. I mean, we're talking mid-80s tomorrow, upper 80s beginning on Sunday, continuing through next Wednesday. So we're scorching hot through the first half of next week.